So the weather has taken a turn for the worst. We are having to change our plans. We are no longer going offshore from Delaware to Chesapeake, but we're now going up the Delaware Bay, through the canal, and then down the Chesapeake. We were scheduled to leave Saturday and Sunday, but the weather is calling for up to 35 knots offshore, and we're not gonna do that with the boat so new to us right now. I wanna have it prove itself to me first before I push it into anything like that. And also, there's not really anywhere along the Delaware, Maryland coast right there to really tuck in if you need to. So we're taking the safer route and going up through the canal. It's supposed to be, it's gonna take longer, it's gonna take 2 days instead of 1 day now, but a lot more to look at. And we're gonna jump over the course of 4 days down to the Chesapeake. A lot of new scenery and little towns and anchorages to check out along the way, including Annapolis, which we'll probably be in for a day.
Hey, we're Ashley and Colin.
Got a little fun coming up.
After a year of starting our own business and working our normal 9-to-5 jobs, we finally made enough money to afford our first boat. We have been spending the last 6 months in the freezing cold and rain getting her ready to sail down south. Now come along with us as we finally hit the water and set sail.
They're ships to me, so I'm just pumped. We are off. We have both sails out for the first time, the Maine and the Genoa. We are currently making 7 knots in the water, and then because we have a current coming out, we're going 5 knots. Our current time of arrival is almost 1 in the morning, but the tide is supposed to switch here in about an hour, so I think that's gonna go down dramatically. We're not gonna be arriving at 1 in the morning. We're gonna anchor around about an hour before sunset and find a nice spot, nice anchorage. So we're gonna enjoy the sailing right now, tune the sails and see how everything works out. Got a little fun coming up. We are headed between these 2 tankers that are anchored.
So we have some shoals coming up. We're getting into like 3 feet of water here, and we're under sail still. So we're hoping we can just go right to the right of it and avoid it and not have to cut our engine on. Pretty nice to be able to do this all under sail and using no engine. This is what we've been waiting for. Finally having both up. Colin's down below cooking some dinner because we're starving. Didn't eat lunch because we were trying to figure out the plan for today. And now we finally have time to eat.
Little update, it's currently blowing 16, 17, 18 or so. We're averaging 7 knots of water speed and then about 7 knots of GPS speed, rough average. We're planning to get into our anchorage tonight at around 10 o'clock. I'm expecting that to still go down because the current still hasn't fully switched as a flood. It's still going out a little bit. This trip has been pretty eventful so far, and I'm hoping that this is the worst situations that we have with this boat. So far today, which was supposed to be a nice and calm 15 to 17 knots, turned into 17 to 23 with about 6 to 8 foot swells, all directly behind us. So it was fun, but also stressful surfing the waves in this 50-foot boat.
Yeah, the bay has not been nice to us at all. Everywhere online said the swells would be 1 to 2 feet, gust 14, and we saw way more than that.
We're still, it's 22, it's 8:30, and it's 22 knots of gust, it's 22 knots of wind right now, and the forecast right now for this area is 10. So we got to figure out a better forecasting system. So please leave a comment down below for what you'd like to use, because predict wind and windy both have been very wrong so far, and it's causing us a lot of stress.
A lot of stress for the first week of being on the boat, but I'm reading up on this bay now, and it's actually known to be not good for sailboats. So you don't read all that stuff in normal blogs and YouTubes. Everything looks nice until you're actually out here, and it's pretty rough. The weather's pretty rough.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be doing a lot more research when it comes time to actually going out south and everything for where we need to go and what we need to do.
Yep, I'll update you once we anchor somewhere. I think we got an hour and a half before we're somewhere where we want to anchor, so we'll update you then. We ended up not filming for the rest of the night because the waves kept getting bigger and the wind was just getting stronger. The boat seemed to be getting overpowered, so we ended up taking ourselves down and motoring the rest of the way. As the night went on, we realized we wouldn't make it to our planned anchorage before nightfall, and we were getting very exhausted. What made this trip even more creepier was we were the only boat we ever saw besides these tanker ships. Someone must have knew something we didn't. We picked out a spot that looked covered by a small island in the bay, but struggled to find a spot not in a cable zone. Once anchored, we thought it would be a good idea to check our fuel filter, because this was the last place we wanted to lose power to our engine. It was in pretty bad shape from all the settlement getting kicked up as the boat got knocked around. We ended up trying to sleep in the salon that night and woke up every hour to check our anchor. It was a very restless night.
So the jetty started here, and it's 14 feet here and then 9 feet in the knot. So we had to go in all the way up behind this island. But what we realized this morning was all in here were also crab pots we didn't know about. So it got a little sketch leaving just because we kind of could have hit one of the crab pots last night, not even realized it, and then lost our engine.
Only 18 more minutes
entrance, and then 5 hours right now past it, through it.
All I care about is getting out of this bay. So, there it is over there. Probably can't see it on the camera. Woohoo! We're out of the bay.
That Delaware Bay is something else, I'll tell you that. Not fun.
I don't think you can pay me to go back in that bay. That was not fun, yeah. As we were entering, we were greeted with a pair of bald eagles, which was pretty nice. They were off on the side over there. The wind finally quieted down and we can actually hear nature, hear the birds singing. So it's really nice. We're coming up on our first bridge of the canal. I think this one's like 133 feet, so we're good to go here. All of the bridges are pretty high, about the same height. It's a railroad bridge, and we couldn't really find much information on it, but a lot of people say it just stays open, so we're hoping it's open. Ooh, it looks so close, but there's like another 100 feet. Wow. Never been so happy to see freaking 5 knots. We got no sleep last night. We woke up every 10 minutes to check our anchorage because we were still in the Delaware Bay. When we were leaving our anchorage, there were crab pods everywhere that we just happened to miss last night. So that's a miracle that we didn't hit any and get them wrapped around our propeller or anything like that. I think the last few hours have been so stressful. We're gonna crash tonight. And there's a reason that no one talks about the Delaware Bay. It's the worst place I've ever been. And I'm never, ever, ever going to return. You can't make me return. If something happens right now in front of us, I would stop the boat, anchor it, and just walk. I'm done. It was bad. Colin was really stressed out. We were both just stressed out. I'm surprised we even found an anchorage last night that actually kept us pretty held in one spot. We didn't move at all. We moved more out near Lewis, Delaware, so that was one relief. But we left really early this morning because we were getting pounded by another storm, and we did not want to stay in that anchorage of a storm because we were so close to land on both sides. So here we go, Chesapeake. Hopefully calmer waters ahead.
We just talked to this sailboat. We just talked to that sailboat on the radio about the Delaware Bay, giving them a heads up of the situation and the currents and the wind that we were in. And while we were speaking, the railroad bridge just went down. I just hailed them on 13. They said it's going to be back up in about 15 minutes, but we get to just sit here playing with the current for 15 minutes, basically going nowhere. Theme for this trip seems to be thunderstorms, as you can tell. We're in a tiny little blip of really, really heavy stuff, and it's supposed to be gone in like 20 minutes. So we'll see if that's true. And for once on this trip, the forecast was actually right. 15 minutes later, the rain has stopped. The sun has not come out yet, but there's a couple blips on the radar, but it doesn't look like they're actually going to hit us. And we have another 2 hours. We are officially in the Chesapeake Bay, part of Chesapeake Bay. So over there, way over there, you can kind of see a sailboat. That is our anchorage for tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to be heading off bright and early to Annapolis. We should be getting in around 10 or 11 or so in the morning, and then we're going to hang out in the city all day and work.
found a nice calm spot for tonight, and we need it.
Yes.
We're gonna get some good sleep tonight and then take off. Get out!
Ow. I'm sorry.
He always hits me with that.